What are the first 3 steps you can take today to become a full-time artist? My name is David Garibaldi. I've been a professional artist for the past 20 years, and I'm going to share with you the 3 foundations that I used to start my art career in 2003. If you enjoy videos like this, be sure to hit the like button down below so that videos like this pop up for you in the future, or consider subscribing to this channel. Let's get into today's video. So today I'm a performance painter. I create these large portraits in minutes to music, and I do about 100+ shows a year around the world. But before all that, back in 2003, almost 20 years ago, I started off doing smaller live paintings at urban jazz clubs. I'm from Sacramento, so wasn't living in a big major city, but I did identify and find this community of people that were into the same things that I was in. Growing up, not only was I an artist my entire life, I also played music. I played the trumpet. I was into jazz music early on, and I also got into classical as well. So just the instrumentation of music was a passion of mine. As I got older, I also got into hip hop music. I got into breakdancing, and these were passions that I thought I was going to be doing separately, not knowing eventually in 2003 combining them into this live painting style. But when I started, I thought, who am I going to paint for? I identified this place in Sacramento as an urban jazz session every Wednesday night, and I thought, well, this is where they gather. Why don't I go paint live there? And that gathering became my gallery. Paint live and naturally attract collectors who felt similar about this music. We had this immediate passion that was our connection. So even my first collector was the DJ that night of one of my first live painting sessions. And eventually it was maybe some of the band members or even people attending those events. And along the way, it became friends of friends of friends of those people that became my first collectors. And so the first step I would give you, based on just the beginnings of this journey, is become an art advocate using imagery that speaks on behalf of that community. So how do you do this? I was into urban jazz music, and so the imagery was people who looked like me, they felt like me, and as they were playing music, I wanted to make sure that the expressions felt like how we felt in that room when we all heard that music, or it looked like how we felt when we put on that music, put some headphones on, and how would our face look, how would our body move? And I tried to translate that feeling into the imagery. And naturally, it attracted people who felt the same way. And it's because that community becomes your first consistent collectors. Naturally, you start attracting like-minded individuals. And to start a self-awareness journey on how to capture that passion in your art style. Another example outside of music, let's just say you grew up and you rode horses growing up. You're familiar with different horse breeds, riding styles, and maybe you also spend time still at equestrian centers, so you know where this community gathers. And now starting this awareness journey of how do I translate this passion for what we do, whether it's caring for those horses, whether it's the aesthetics of the surroundings that we can all connect with. That's a self-awareness journey that you have to go through. But once you start identifying who your community is, ask yourself, how do I speak for them through my art? The second part, and probably one of the most important ones, is the relationships that you develop with your collectors. And this is something that eventually creates something that I call relationship momentum. So each sale that I made early on, I made sure to just stay in contact as much as I could with collectors. Now, as that list grew over time, I needed to create a newsletter list to keep them all up to date at once. But there were also certain collectors that I would reach out to personally, whether it's to go do dinner, get some coffee, or even to give them a preview of anything I was working on new at that time. Is spend time and show appreciation for your collectors outside of the studio. Put the brush down, take a break, go get to know them. But this investment of time and care that you have for your collectors, it'll pay off, and it could pay off decades later. Even now, almost 20 years from when I started, I'm still getting calls, texts from past collectors or even people who follow my journey and saying, you know what, we're ready now. And we've become friends along the way. So it feels like my friends are, just reaching out to buy art, but it's really the time and care that you put into people who enjoy and collect your work. The third part really does go more into the art creation, is that your skill sets need to grow equally as much as you push to gain new collectors. So when I started doing my live paintings at these small jazz clubs, they were smaller, the paintings were quicker, and naturally I just wanted to improve. So when I wasn't painting live at these events, I would go back into my studio and I would create a higher level fine art version of what I painted live. And this was also a signal to my collectors that I was very serious about this art form. And this is something that I'm willing to do the discipline and the time it takes to grow with them, and as I was pushing my art career and growing my brand. And a lot of this, the first one, of connecting with your collectors with a passion, developing the relationship, and even this mindset of developing your skills is just that. It's all based on a mindset and thinking, how do I connect and how do I improve along the way? And by doing that, that is ultimately what attracts collectors. I just hope that artists get out of the mindset of having to sell art, having to go out there and shill it and pitch it all the time, when you could be connecting your passions with your skill set and attracting these collectors over time. So these are just 3 steps that you can take. You can start by doing this today. Take the time to break those down, think about connecting your passions with your art, developing relationships with new collectors, but also past ones, and then also asking yourself, how do I grow my skill sets equally to me gaining new collectors? Those of you who want to take a step further and go on a coaching journey, we do have a coaching program and different courses available. If you visit paintplus.io, there's also some information down below in the description to learn more about those. And if you're enjoying videos like this, be sure to hit the like button so that these videos pop up for you. And if you want to come along for the journey and join this paint family, we ask that you consider subscribing to this channel. Also, check out these videos.